good afternoon to you viewers here in Nigeria and around the world. You're watching ACD Hot on Active Citizens, where politics, entertainment, accountability, and public conversations meet face to face. I'm Ifoma Oji, and as always, we bring you the stories shaping national discourse and the questions demanding answers. And I'm joined in the studio by the ever beautiful Sharon Chuku. Good afternoon, Sharon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, I love that. I'm great. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm fabulous.
You're looking
usual.
beautiful as
You
always.
too.
Now, this afternoon, three major conversations. A mid-air altercation between social media, social critics, VDM, and Mr. Jollof sparks nationwide debate on behavior, influence, and responsibility. The second one is a super egos confronted abroad by an angry Nigerian man over insecurity back home, raising questions about patriotism and misplaced frustration. And third, parents of government-sponsored students shut down the Ministry of Finance in Abuja, demanding unpaid allowances after one scholarship student reportedly died due to hardship. Now let's begin. The first story we have here is a video which has gone viral across social media yesterday, showing Very Dark Man and Mr. Jollof exchanging heated words aboard an aircraft. Passengers watched in shock as two public figures, both known for online drama, turned a commercial flight into a battleground of ego and aggression. The airline crew had to intervene, and many Nigerians are asking, if influencers who constantly preach accountability can't control themselves in public spaces, what message does that send? And what if the situation escalated mid-air? For many observers, the incident reflects a growing culture where fame is being weaponized and online hostility is spilling into real life. Now, Sharon, we discussed about this particular story yesterday, and it was quite humiliating and embarrassing to see a public figure like Very Dark Man and Mr. Jollof having an altercation mid-air. They didn't even wait for the online fight, because we've seen online that it was actually something or a beef they were having online that escalated into offline, altercation. And I'm like, there are a lot of people involved in that particular plane. What if there was a turbulence, during that process? What would have happened? What would be, it wouldn't, I know at the end of the day, it wouldn't be about the fight, anymore. It wouldn't be about online banter anymore. It will now be about people's lives being lost on something that could easily be avoided, that is not even necessary, in the first place. Well, I'm like, should the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority sanction public figures who disrupt fights?
Definitely. And the sanctions should be really, big, right?
Yeah.
So we've seen that after that particular fight, they were at the we like call it the station, but for the airport security station. But even there, I saw a video of Mr. Jollof making a video boasting that nothing was wrong with his face, because I think there has been a rumor that his face was swollen and all of that. So he came out to decry that and saying that he was in good condition. And even in that video, he was still throwing shades at VDM. I've also seen videos of VDM as well coming out as well to show the bite marks, but also he was throwing shades at Mr. Jollof. Now, from all that we've seen from both sides, I don't think Nigerians have seen enough remorse on both of their parts. I don't think they really understand the gravity of what they've done.
Well, Mr. Jollof actually apologized.
Yes, apology by mouth is different from action. He has come out to apologize, but it was the same person that was making a video showing off his face and all of that. And that apology was, if I were to quote him, "Oh, I'm sorry for all people," he apologized to people that were on that flight. But because no sanction has been meted out to them, no punishment per se, they've not really shown that remorse, really, to be honest. It's just as though that was a clout chasing event, and they are treating it as such. So I just don't think that, with the NCA, they've done enough to really reprimand them so that other people learn their lessons.
Yeah, I actually saw a post on Facebook where I don't know whether it was, I don't know if it was somebody that posted it on Facebook, but I saw in the headline that the Aviation Authority have actually sanctioned and penalized Mr. Jollof and Very Dark Man, and they've been banned from flying locally and internationally for 5 years. So, but
no,
I'm
that's
yet to
what
confirm
they're saying.
the validity.
That story is what is expected.
Okay,
right? That is what is expected. That they would
Okay.
expect a 5 years ban, but we've not come out to see anything.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
let's just talk more on this whole celebrity fight. I remember yesterday we talked about, I mentioned Fina. Remember one time she had a fight with a certain person in a hotel, and she wasn't even apologetic about it. It was more like, I don't care whether I'm a public figure or not. If whatever you give to me, I give you back to back. And this particular story now, we know the background story. Very Dark Man actually promised the Mr. Jollof that he was going to approach him. He would be the first person to defend himself, since Mr. Jollof said he's going to slap him wherever he sees him. So Mr. Very Dark Man now said that wherever he sees him, that he will make sure that he is the one to attack first, because it is more like looking like it's his own defense. He said he's going to slap him. So, and the whole thing happened. But let me just ask you this quick questions. Do you think that influencers are now becoming a threat to public order?
No, you can't say influencers are becoming a threat. I don't think it is just influencers. I think it's just generally with Nigerians, okay? So this is what is happening. A lot of, because we also saw what happened with Comfort Emerson, right? Comfort was not a public figure. She was not an influencer, but she still had an altercation also on air, right? While they were on air. And although there are a lot of explanations surrounding that, it's going to be very unfair to come out and single the influencers out, or even the celebrities out, as having or being a threat to the security of people. I think this is just a situation where it affects generally all Nigerians. So Nigerians are to be held culpable and accountable for their dismissal, and it's something that I think we have not been able to reinforce. And because of their celebrity status, that's why it goes more viral. There are other situations that, or similar scenarios that happen like that, but they don't escalate as much. It's because these people are public figures, and when they see public figures, immediately people are bringing out their phones to record, and that's how we're able to get this, kind of things.
Definitely, well said. Now the aviation crew or the institution, it's looking like we've not heard anything from them as regards this particular incident. They haven't come out to, make a statement. I think
the United Airlines have made a brief statement. I think they have, and also the NCA, I think they said something about them carrying out an investigation, because they would always carry out an investigation. The problem is, how long will this investigation last for, and what are going to be the penalties, right? So that's something that I'm really, really hoping to hear from them.
Yeah, I think we are equally looking forward to what will be the outcome or what will be the penalty, because these public figures, like I said yesterday, people look up to them. To see them in this public altercation, it doesn't really speak good of something that they come out in the open to critique. They critique the government on a daily basis. So coming out in the public to, disgrace themselves in such way, and people that represent them too, is actually demeaning, and it doesn't speak well of them at all. But we'll see how that pans out. Now let's move over to the second story. Now another viral clip shows a Nigerian man confronting some Super Eagles players abroad. He blamed them for insecurity in Nigeria, questioning why they represent a country that can't protect its citizens. The players appeared shocked. After all, they are athletes, not security chiefs. Let's take a look at the video.
For over so many years, and you people are representing a terrorist organization, a terrorist government. You Nigerian youth should be very ashamed of yourselves. Every one of you here should be very, very ashamed of yourself. I will speak to you. This can't happen in another European country, that their youth are representing a government. Stay quiet, stay quiet, stay quiet. A football team should know that we are suffering the youth of Nigeria. Over 10 million Nigerian youth are abroad doing nothing. And you people who are supposed to know the truth are representing a terrorist organization. Excuse me, stay quiet, Mr. Man. I'm speaking, I'm not causing any problem. Do you understand? Yeah, I am speaking to these youths who have refused to recognize. No, I will. If you touch me, I will call the police on you. If you touch me, I will call the police on you. This is not Nigeria. This is not Nigeria. If you, anyone who touch me will get the police. This is not a third world country. This is not a third world country. You motherfuckers, you are representing a government which are killing their people. You cannot be ashamed of yourself. Don't push me. When you touch me, it's fake dick here. Do asshole. Don't touch me. Go away. This is a democratic nation. This is not a third world. I live here. So I'm calling on you, you idiots. Go back home. Don't represent. Be ashamed of yourself. Look at you. Look at you. Look at how you are. You represent a government which is calling. You are from Switzerland. I saw you a few days ago. You are a new citizen. I don't think this is how it's done in Switzerland. You are representing a terrorist. You should be ashamed of yourself. Lekki youths were killed. Over 200 youths were killed in Lekki Peninsula, and you are representing a terrorist organization calling yourself Eagles players. You should be ashamed of yourself, every one of you. I'm making this video. You touch me, you are in pain. Don't touch my legs. If you touch me, I'll put a mark. I want
Incident highlights deeper issues. A frustrated public searching for people to hold responsible. Now, national representatives becoming soft targets for anger meant for leaders, and a growing sense of embarrassment among Nigerians in the diaspora. It raises the difficult question: are Nigerians abroad losing faith in the government so much that anyone wearing national colors becomes a symbol of their frustration? Now, we saw this video together, and it's quite disturbing. But I'm really going to talk from this man's point of view. I could see someone who is aggrieved. I could see somebody who is in pain, who is going through a lot of frustration, irrespective of the fact that he's not currently in Nigeria, but he could feel the pain of people living in Nigeria. And it's as if the only people he could hold accountable were the Super Eagles, or rather the people representing Nigeria.
Super Falcons, even.
Super Falcons, yeah, people representing Nigeria on the pitch. And I'm like, do you think that the frustration has gone beyond what Nigerians could actually control?
You know, you said something about him, even though him not being in Nigeria, he's abroad, but you can hear the pain. You can literally pinpoint the pain from that man's voice. And it is, like you rightfully said, targeted at the wrong group, right? But it's because those were the available people, right? So he transferred his aggression. It would have been proper for the Nigerian leaders, for Nigerian government, right? But he didn't see that, and what he saw were the Super Falcons, people representing Nigerians, and because they were actually wearing Nigerian colors, he had to stand up. Now, there are so many things that I saw in that video. That is a man who is frustrated, who feels helpless, and who feels that Nigerians, both home and abroad, might not be doing enough. So he's calling on them, right? He's calling on the athletes. He said something about them representing a nation that kills people, and it's not that the athletes can really do anything. I think it's coming from the point of view that they are not doing enough, using their voices to speak up and to speak out. And he's coming from a place of hurt. This is somebody that is really feeling the pains and the pangs of the killings in Nigeria. And it's really saddening to see that sometimes it is actually the Nigerians in diaspora that tend to feel the pain or what is going on in Nigeria more than the Nigerians living in Nigeria. When you speak to a Nigerian living in diaspora, most times they might even want to be brought to tears when they're talking about the situation of this nation. We know what happened in 2023, how the Nigerians in diaspora really came together to organize and contribute their token towards a better Nigeria. But what happened after that? So I just think this is one of those situations, all right? I know we're still going to have the conversation more, so I'm going to keep my reservation on how the Super Falcons reacted to that particular incident. But that's just my take. I just think he's a frustrated Nigerian that did not have access to Nigerian leaders.
Yeah, I can't actually agree more. You know, everybody's just looking for who to, you
Hold
know, hold
accountable.
accountable. It is so sad that the leaders that we look up to, we've already lost hope in them. So we are now looking for, you know,
Every
mini
other
leaders.
means,
Yes,
yes.
every other means to, you know, make sure that we seek accountability, make sure that we protect lives of people, you know, that are dying in Nigerians, using these people, antagonizing them. But was it really fair in the first place to use, you know, Super Falcons in replacement to the leaders?
That's what I said. That's one thing about transfer of aggression, right? You don't really care who is standing in front of you. I can bet you that when he was looking at those people, he was not seeing them. He was seeing the presidency. Yes, he was seeing the Nigerian government. He was seeing the group of people that have remained complacent to the killings in Nigeria. It was not really, they didn't do him anything. I'm sure that he's never seen them one-on-one before in his life. So I just think it was coming from a place of, like I said earlier, hurt. And also talking about Nigerians abroad, we're just seeing in the news now that the parents of students abroad that have gotten scholarship from the Nigerian government.
Just hold that topic.
Yes. All right. Okay. Yes, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of agitation abroad, right? There are a lot of people who, even abroad, have come out to show their agitation. So this is just one of those millions of Nigerians. Whether it was right or not, you can't really say. You can't judge that, because it was out of frustration. It was not born out of you know, legal thinking or right thinking.
Yeah, I get you. Now let's talk about the reaction of the Super Falcons. I feel like they would have reacted in a more understanding way, because you don't just think about yourself in situation like that, especially in a situation whereby you know that there's serious frustration both home and abroad, and everybody's looking for every given opportunity to lash out at anybody. So I'm like, it's not just one person that was present on that, you know, what was it called, on that train. There were a lot of them. So do you think that they should have reacted more kindly to the situation, being a Nigerian and knowing what it means, you know, to have your loved ones killed on a daily basis?
You know, I don't even know what was wrong with the Nigerians on that train, with how they reacted. So I'm saying, is it because Nigeria lost in the last match, right? Because a lot of people, they lost to Congo, I think, and a lot of Nigerians really felt heartbroken. I think I also saw where they wrote a letter to the Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and to Nigerians apologizing for losing that match. So I don't know where their own frustration was coming from, because I really don't think they reacted in the best way when they saw that. He was not holding arms. He was even recording, meaning that anything that he was doing was on record, right? And he was not trying to act funny. He was just speaking. And you could see them raising their voices, standing up, also calling him names. And they first called him names before he also reciprocated the gesture and started calling them names as well. And if not for, they were also like, we saw some men intervening. If not for those interventions, I don't know what their plan was. Did they want to engage in a physical fight with the man? It just doesn't make sense. I just really think that they didn't show empathy right there. This is a fellow Nigerian. This is a Nigerian brother, and truly there are killings. So you are not the right place where you should be channeling that anger to, but you understand. So I just feel that they should have come from that place of understanding, and I really didn't see that.
Exactly. I think they should have approached it, you know, with empathy, given the fact that most of them involved in that train are actually Nigerians, and they are abreast with what is going on, the killings, the inflation, the job insecurity, the unemployment, the dilapidated school environment. They are aware of these things, and they shouldn't have reacted the way they did. But let's move over to the third story, which is the last story for today in Abuja. Parents of Nigerian students studying abroad on federal scholarship blocked the entrance of the Ministry of Finance. Their demand is simple: pay the allowances owed to their children. Now, the parents say students are starving, stranded, and unable to pay rent or hospital bills. One banner read, "We have lost a child. We must not bury another." Now, that message captured the severity of the situation, because these students represent Nigerians' brightest minds, sent abroad to learn, but abandoned by the same system that sponsored them. Now, this raises a troubling national question. How does a government justify neglecting its scholars while preaching investment in human capital? Now, this particular story now, I remember back then when I was much younger, there were people above me, above my class, that got what's it called, scholarship to study abroad, and I was so happy for them. I'm like, this is a beautiful step to achieving more greater heights. And to grow up and see that even these students who are being given free scholarship or are being given scholarship to study abroad are actually going through a lot. But let me just have your take before we proceed.
So this was what I was mentioning earlier for the second story, the situation where we are seeing parents of students who rightfully gained scholarship via the Nigerian government to study abroad. Now they have come out to complain that for close to 16 months that the Nigerian government has not paid those students their stipends and allowances, and they say that they lost a child. So I don't know what transpired with them losing. I'm really not clear. Was it as a result of negligence from the Nigerian government that led to the death of this person, this child? And they're coming out to say again that they can't let this happen. And it is really saddening, because while growing up as well, would see, even till now, would see people gain scholarships to study abroad, and it's always a big deal gaining a scholarship. Now, if you check the comment section, a lot of people, many people sympathize with the parents, but some of them were critical of the parents' trust in the Nigerian government. It's to tell you how bad things are. You could see comments saying, oh, you go, they trust Nigerian government. You really thought they were going to do better for you. You really thought they were going to keep to their words. And this is something that we've seen even before they go abroad. We've seen it in ASU, right? We've seen the back and forth that the government has with ASU, promising to do this, promising to do that tomorrow, and not living up to their expectations. I just think that it is really sad that the Nigerian government has a reputation of unreliability, where the people that they are claiming to lead cannot rely on them for as little as education. You are the one that offered them education, but you can't see it through. I just think it's really heartbreaking.
Yeah. And now I will just touch on a few things, which is this same thing we usually hear or we chant when we were growing up. We are the leaders of tomorrow. It's equally in the Nigerian anthem. And I'm like, these are the leaders of tomorrow. People, for somebody to gain scholarship to study abroad means that this person is extremely brilliant and intelligent to, get such scholarship. And I'm like, what does it mean for people? What encouragement and what precedent does this set for people that, have this mindset? These people that are equally intelligent, they are brilliant, and they will want to gain admission or scholarship outside country. What precedent does it set for them?
Unfortunately, setting that of hopelessness for these kids. And, when you go to schools, both secondary, senior secondary, junior secondary, just do your research. This is based off of mine. You will notice that the brightest students are most times the poorest. And when you go to a particular class, oh, who is the brightest student here? This person. But they can't afford that education. And sometimes, thankfully, sometimes they're able to go through that class. They're able to pass successfully. But that is not always the case. Most times they end up dropping out from school, even in secondary school, even in junior secondary school. And I just think that with the government trying to contribute to giving them free education, giving them better education, whatever that is worth doing really is worth doing well. The Nigerian government needs to utilize these brains that they have, this talent that they have. And if I might tell you, this is what differentiates the Nigerian government from outside. Outside there, they really prioritize these talents. They really prioritize these brilliant minds. But over here, because we have a lot of them, they don't see the gem in those kids. They don't see the value. So for kids that are watching, or for kids that have heard news like this, and for parents as well who have kids like that, I just think it could be a little discouraging to hear that there might not be a headway for brilliant kids in Nigeria.
Yeah, I think so too. This actually reminds me of one particular guy. It's a story, but it was someone that's close to me that told me about the story. It's actually one of his friends. He said back then in uni that there was this particular guy that graduated with first class, and when they were done with school, this guy searched for a job non-stop, and he never found job anywhere or anything close to, you know, being a first class, you know, student. And this guy resorted to driving keke. Now, why driving the keke? I think this should be like 5 years down. There was this particular man that came down from out of the country, came down from abroad, and he was like that he's looking for a brilliant student, that he really wants to work on, you know, more massive employment. And this was when he actually went to the school, and this was when they remembered this particular guy that, you know, had first class. And they tried reaching out to this guy, and it was more like 2 days before they got to this guy, they discovered that this guy died in a terrible car accident, and it was as a result of the keke he was driving. You know what comes with others, you know, keke, driving keke and the rest of them, and that was how this guy, you know, died. And it was so sad that talent was not harnessed. And I equally saw something on social media yesterday where I don't know if it was the people in diaspora that was actually talking about the educational sector in Nigeria, and how the federal government allotted about 9-point-something% to the educational sector, while outside country they actually prioritize the educational, you know, system. They allot about 40 to 50%, you know, what's it called, to the educational sector, to ensure that every student in that what's it called, in the institution actually come out of the school or graduate as bright students. And it's so sad that in Nigeria here the case is totally different. We don't prioritize education. We prefer, you know, going on shopping sprees, adding more convoys to our already tightened security. It is quite sad, and I think the authorities should look at this and actually, you know, make a change for the Nigerian students, because it is quite disencouraging. And that's it for As They Hot for this afternoon. Please bear in mind that these are not just stories. These are reflections of a nation struggling with behavior, accountability, and responsibility at every level. I'm Ifoma Orji. Stay with us at Active Citizens Parliament in the evening for more updates. And remember, conversations shape democracy, but actions strengthens it. We'll see you in the evening.